Good morning and welcome to Need to Know Westford. I'm Cathy Ricketson.
I'm Beth Morrison.
And we are here today with Parks and Recreation Director Michelle Collett. And good morning, Michelle, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
There's so much to cover today. In reviewing the Parks and Rec programming, we have been so impressed with the number of programs for all ages. Today we hope to cover the summer programs for 2024, and clearly your team has planned many exciting and fun activities for our entire town. But before we get to that, please tell us about yourself and how you came to be the Parks and Rec Director for Westford.
I would love to share that. I first began working here in Westford back in '99, I believe. I was actually the Road and Bush School Age Director, so that's where I got my start. And then in 2003, I left and had my son. I was lucky enough to stay home for the next year and a half, and then the recreation department actually reached out to me because they heard from someone that I had met through Road and Bush that, I was out there, looking for a job. And right around then, the recreation department was starting their after-school program. So I started working in Westford in 2005 as just an activities coordinator in the gym for one of the after-school programs. At this time, we only had two of them. One was held at the Crisafulli Elementary, and the other one was held at Nabnasset. So that was back in 2005, and then I ran the Crisafulli after-school program for about 15 years before the then assistant director had left. So I got that job. And then in 2017, that was in 2017, and sometime around 2021, right after COVID, the Park and Rec director had resigned.
Okay.
So they actually ended up splitting the departments up and creating just recreation, and the park side of it went up to the DPW. So around there, I then became the recreation director. So I've moved my way up. Yes. I say I've earned my stripes, and
What a challenging time to be director after COVID.
Right. It's just been an awesome run, and I'm so thankful for, the almost 20 years. It doesn't seem like I'm old enough to be here for 20 years, but I've met so many amazing people, and some of my greatest friends are still here in town. And if it wasn't for working in the recreation department and meeting all of these just wonderful residents, I almost feel like I do feel like I'm part of the town.
Oh, so, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you've been here
so
that
that's a little bit about how
people.
I've evolved here. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought up 2005 because I've lived here 30 years and I have watched how things have evolved. And I think one of the greatest lessons of COVID was how much recreation and outdoors meant to us during that time. So programs change and adapt over the years. What have been some of the biggest changes or trends and activities that you've seen over time?
So I think, there's certain things that the recreation department focuses on. There's the after-school program that runs all year long, and then in the summer, there are 2 summer weekly programs. And then we have our 2 waterfronts that we run. So as far as things evolving, we've always relied on our after-school program as a source of childcare, both summer and our after-school programs. And then some of the smaller programs that we do run, those have changed on the basis of, what are people looking for out there? We're not the only gig in town, not even Westford alone, but the surrounding communities offer so many other recreational activities that we try to make sure that whatever we do at recreation, we do it and we do it well. We don't try to overwhelm ourselves with too many different activities because participation is most important. So we want to make sure that we're targeting certain groups that can offer, from soccer to chess to Bollywood dancing, and then with our after-school programs, we already have those existing platforms that we can intertwine activities into those programs, do something in the after school where a parent doesn't have to come get their kid and run off to, karate or taekwondo, we bring it in and we do it at our program. So
It's a big service for Westford
it's a big
parents.
service. And then, of course, creating these programs, people will register for that are
Yes.
popular. So we're not running all these programs to only have a couple people sign up and then have to cancel it. We don't want to have to do that. So we pride ourselves on the quality of programs that we run.
Wonderful.
So you offer a variety of programs for all ages, all the way from, the littlest littles in town, all the way up to seniors and adults. So can you highlight some of the programs from the youngest to the oldest, and how do you find out about these programs and get involved?
Sure. So, for example, our youngest are our 4-year-olds. Now, we don't typically do a lot of preschool activities. We have the 4-year-olds come to our summer program to start. We'll have those. And then,
And what do they do, the 4-year-olds?
so they come to our Kids Club summer program. So we are not there. When parents hear that we offer a program that starts at 4 years old, it's always intriguing because they have that 6 or 7-year-old sibling, and they can both go to the same place and get a camp-like experience with being with older children, doing the arts and crafts, moving from sports and games to arts and crafts to outside, and really having those transitionings happening in a setting like a camp setting, not like a school setting. We do focus a lot on our school-age children. Between our summer weekly programs and our after-school programs, that's our main focus, ages 4 to 5th grade.
Well, that's good to know. Let's talk about that. Let's start with some of our school-age kids programs. And some residents may not be aware that you run after-school, snow day, holiday programs during the year. Tell us about that.
So during the school year, we have an after-school program based in each elementary school. We have 3 programs at the K-2 school and 3 programs at the 3-5. Basically, I could probably talk all day about our after-school programs, but essentially the children register for these programs and then get dismissed after school and walk down to their cafeteria where they check in, and throughout the course of the afternoon they participate in different activities from sports and games, arts and craft, no-bake cooking, science programs.
I love no-bake cooking.
The staff, oh my God, that's one of our favorite activities. It's super popular. And then they go home and, hey, I learned how to use the microwave and measuring and mixing and following directions with ingredients, and they love it. Sometimes we try to stick with healthy choices. Sometimes it's fun to have a sweet treat at the end of the day, but they make a little cookbook and bring it home at the end. So we really use our after-school programs as a platform for enrichment. So yeah, that's really our focus. And then in the summer, instead of having them only after school, we have them all day long. So it's all year long. My staff is, working in these programs, working directly with the children. So because they're so busy doing that, a lot of our programs that we run outside of that are our vendor programs. So we have vendors such as Speed and Agility with Coach DJ Brock, one of our most popular summer activities that we run. Nighthawks Track and Field, that's another really popular vendor program. We most recently started pairing up with Soccer Shots, another vendor, and it's so easy to work with these vendors because they really come in and we use them they use us as a registration platform, but they organize all their coaches, their staff, their training, and they actually run the activities. And the staff, we don't have the staff that is hired by us, while they're running the after school and the summer programs, I'm able to run these one-off programs. We have Bollywood dancing on Tuesdays. That happens over at the recreation department. We have chess, both advanced and beginner. We have Brazilian soccer clinics that we're running this summer. Just a few off the top of my head that are, again, our more popular programs that we're able to run outside our, let's just say, in-house programs, if that makes sense.
So let's talk about your the supervision and what it takes to be an employee with the rec department. I know some high school students who have worked with the rec department. So your summer program runs for 4 to 13-year-olds, and you have site directors on hand who are first aid and CPR certified. So tell us about the summer staff, and are there any opportunities for employment?
So summer staff is always so fun to talk about because it's so rewarding, yet it can be very daunting trying to, get the paperwork, for example, from 14 and 15-year-olds who are just their first job, right? So I take pride in not only giving them their first job, but, teaching them the process of what it takes to actually go for an interview, keep up with your emails and read them, and then here's your paperwork, and getting it all back with I's dotted and T's crossed, right? And I think that's a lot to ask of a teenager, but they've been spectacular doing it. I hired over almost 25 new employees, ranging from ages 14 to 21. I start my hiring process in like February. So it's a very long process, but I'm happy to say that everyone for the summer has been hired. We have some trainings coming up that they're going to be having to go to for the first time.
So you have certification requirements from the state,
Certification,
right?
they all have to be first aid and CPR certified. They're undergoing a new training this summer called ARCS Ed. That is an online training that they do on their own. And I am having a very large mandatory orientation. I'm bringing in a gentleman called Wins for Life, something new that I'm doing this summer. And he is going to do an all-program orientation for anyone working for me this summer. So kind of give them some insight on scenarios, from that to camaraderie and just working with children in general. I'm really excited to see how that goes this summer. So yeah, in order to work for the recreation department, you basically have to apply within, fill out an application, come in for an interview, fill out the paperwork, attend some trainings. It's a lot of work to actually get employed, and then we place them in a program, and I have, like I said, I have the 2 summer weekly programs and 2 waterfronts that I hire for.
Well, clearly, they're going to have a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
And we were amazed to see that you offer a full week, early arrival, extended day programs. How do you manage this wide-ranging flexibility of your programs?
That's a great question, and I get that asked a lot. So I do hire several teenagers to work throughout the summer. I also have my site directors that run my after-school programs. So, I compared it the other day. I have 6 after-school programs that are covered by, my adults. And then in the summer, I'm able to take those adults and put them at the beaches, at Kids Club and DE that cover that 7:30 to 6 p.m. So with the adults I have in charge, I have enough of them to spread them out to safely cover a long day. So there's always an adult at my program. And then I hire enough staff underneath that, I spread them out. Again, I spread them out between Destination Exploration, Kids Club, and the beaches. So if someone calls out or they're not available, I can pull from other programs and use them. They're kind of mobile. They all are
There's a lot
willing
of
to
flexibility.
do whatever they need to do to have a job. So they may be hired for Kids Club, but if I'm short
Do your
staffed,
adults range from 18 up?
yes.
So we're social workers. Are they Corey checked?
They're all Corey checked, and for anyone who worked in my after-school programs, they're actually fingerprinted as well.
Wow.
So they have to go through the fingerprint process and the Corey process, and they have to get first aid and CPR training.
And there's requirements for ratios.
There's requirements for ratios. The state requirement for ratios is typically 1 to 13.
Explain what that means. That's
So one adult to every
how many
13 children. That
Okay.
is the state ratio that I try to work around. But if I have 4 and 5-year-olds, I would never put one person with 13 of them.
Right.
So depending on their age group, I like to say, 4s and 5s, I like to go 1 to 5, 1 to 6. If there's like 6, 7, and 8-year-olds, maybe 1 to 7, 1 to 8. And as they get older and a little bit more independent, that's when I trust the 1 to 13. But there's so many moving parts, and we're near water at the beach, and walking through, taking hikes and walking down to the beach, you can never have enough, safety first. So I put safety above anything else and make sure that there's a good number of staff to children. That may not always be 1 to 13, but it's a safe ratio. It's always under that. I always err on the side of caution when it comes to staffing the children. Yeah, and you also have not only different age groups, but you have different personalities. Someone, you could have...
And the kids have different needs today.
Absolutely. They have different needs. So, I try to keep that's always in the back of our minds, me and the staff. And we talk all the time about those kind of things and those special needs that, I say base it around your need, and then we go from there.
So can we talk a little bit about what's the difference between Kids Club and Destination Exploration? Because they're both summer programs, but they kind of have different hours and different activities. So if you could kind of talk about what those two programs are.
Absolutely. So both of our programs are open from 7:30 to 6. So we have an early arrival program and an extended day. And we call 9 to 3, we call that our core of the day. So you can sign up from 9 to 3, early arrival or extended day. Kids Club, school-based, at Nabnasset, in a school. I describe it as, you got your art room, you got the CAF, you got your game room, you have the gym, you move around the building, that kind of setting. Same activities, arts and crafts, sports and games. Outside, we'll do archery, we play on the playground, we walk down to Edwards and go swimming, we have swim lessons. So those are the kind of activities at Kids Club. But more importantly, when you say the difference, that's based in a school. Destination Exploration is our program up at East Boston Camps, the Stony Brook Conservation. That is held outside. I always let everyone know, you need a little bit more bug spray.
It's a little rugged.
Change of clothes and a little bit more rugged. Exactly. We use the cabins that are there. We're hiking in the woods, there's fishing, there's paddle boarding. There are swim lessons up there this summer, which I'm doing for the first time. So I'm excited to offer swim lessons at Destination Exploration. As far as those activities, same activities, but, there's shelter building down at Kids Club. They'll go in the backwoods and shelter build. They'll do the same thing up in the woods. So it's more of what's your preference of venue? What's your preference of atmosphere?
Are they the same age
They're
groups?
Same age group. However, the 4 and 5-year-olds, we don't have 4 through 6 is at Kids Club. Destination Exploration starts at 7 and up. So you do need to be 7 and older to go to Destination Exploration, and 4 years old at Kids Club. So.
And Kids Club is at
Nabnasset,
right?
as at the Nabnasset Elementary School, correct. And we love being there.
My kids used to go to Robinson, but you don't have that one anymore, right? The Robinson program.
So at one time, we did have this program called Ready, Set, Go.
Yes.
And
My kids loved that.
It was 4 to 7-year-olds. We have since just taken that age group and just incorporated them into Kids Club. But years and years ago, we had Kids Club Junior. So again, we just took that age group. We still serviced them. We just kind of mixed them in with our Kids Club. But yes, we did have that program years ago.
And what is the structure of their day like when they're at East Boston Camps?
So they arrive. They all get dropped off. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the property up there, but we there's the property that's way up top, and Teamworks is up there. But right as you head up the road, there is another area that if you take a left, there's another small area with cabins. There's one big cabin, Cello, and then there's smaller cabins that we use and 2 bathrooms.
And that was like the girls' camp, I think, right?
That was the day camp. I hear that
Okay.
was called the day camp back in the day. The boys' camp was up top, and then the girls' camp was located on the other side of the pond.
Ah.
So a typical day is drop off. Everyone's kind of playing and running around as they're getting dropped off, and then around, I don't know, 10:30, they all kind of gather and have a morning meeting by the campfire. There's no fire, but they all sit around, and then after that, they have choices of activities, such as, one group might go swimming, one group might be going to play tracker, another group might be going to fish. We have paddle boards down there, so they're grouped in groups, and that each little group goes and plays.
So they have a choice.
Yeah, they have a choice of what they
So
want
they
to
can
do.
kind of try everything.
Some of the kids like to just go in the cabin and do beads or play a board game with a counselor. So we try to give them options of, not strenuous activity, but a big hike, a swim, but also the option to, sit and read a book. If someone's kind of hot and doesn't want to do a whole lot, we have other options for small little groups of play. I know Mr. Ben brings up his music, and it's always a big party up there. So they have a blast up in the woods. Everything's nice because it's all in one area. Like, all the kids are just right there. So
You can see
it makes it
everything.
nice to see everyone and to see what they're doing, and give them a little bit more freedom to just play around and get creative. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And I think offering swimming lessons is a great thing. These aren't just like fun programs to have, but they really can impact your health and the health of our community. And having these programs are very
Safety.
important to the safety and well-being of the community itself.
And our community
that-
has a lot of lakes.
Yep, and it's so important to us because, and the lifeguards, my lifeguards are these amazing human beings. I want to put a plug out there to all these Westford Academy students who are so impressive, and they just want to work, and to put them in charge of such responsibility, I feel good doing it. At least we're offering a program where children can either just get comfortable in the water. We have 2 ponds in town. It's not, I feel like pool swimming is different than pond swimming. So to get a child acclimated to swimming in a pond as opposed to a pool, to offer those lessons, to even give them the confidence to get in the water.
Yes.
If someone leaves just learning that,
Yes.
we'd be happy. So offering the swim lessons is super important to us. We've always done them through Kids Club. This year I decided to schedule them up at Destination Exploration as well. Another thing with our swim lessons, we used to do public ones, and I think from around town, a lot more people are using the bigger, Goldfish or wet. They're using those platforms to teach swim lessons. So it kind of, I think, cut into ours a little bit, but we still do have our parents that, they want to come down, they want to learn in a pond, and there's something to be said for that. So we're able to give them that opportunity. Another thing with our swim lessons too, we have to follow Christian's law. I don't know if many people know about Christian's law, but Christian's law was a law that was passed years ago after a mother dropped their child off at a camp and wanted to send them with their life jacket, and the camp said no. Well, unfortunately, the child did drown, and these parents fought for this law to say, at any camp or recreational program, life jackets do need to be provided. So we follow very strict Christian's law guidelines. The children, before they do any kind of swimming, they have to pass a swim test. If the there are certain levels in the swim test. I don't necessarily know
So
exactly
they
what
learn
they
how
are.
to swim. They learn the basics, and then they can pass
Well,
these tests.
right. And
Okay.
that's why we encourage, take our swim lesson, get to the point where they don't have to wear a life jacket in the water. I'm okay with life jackets, but for those kids that really are learning how to swim, there's nothing better than passing that swim test and not having to wear that life jacket.
You've earned it.
Oh, yeah, you've earned it. You've earned not wearing your life jacket, but that doesn't mean we don't have lifeguards out there on paddle boards and still watching them. But when we have kids swimming in our program, we do follow these protocols. So, yes, they might be only swimming in waist-deep water with a life jacket on, but as we know, we take the waterfront and swimming very seriously. So I love the fact that I have this Christian's law to fall back on to ensure the safety of the children in the water.
It's really interesting because I wasn't familiar with that.
Yeah.
Well, that shows how a town program responds to the town it's in, because not all towns have lakes.
Right.
But ours does.
Yeah.
And like you say, acclimating from a pool to a lake is very different, because maybe they can't see their toes at the bottom and they're a little wary about it. And they don't want to
100%.
put their head underwater or whatever.
Yeah.
So just acclimating them to that and not having that fear that some people could carry for their whole life
Yeah.
if they're not acclimated to the water.
Absolutely.
So that brings us around to our town facilities and how we use what our town has to offer. So can you talk about that, how you utilize our town fields, courts, et cetera?
So as far as the facilities in town and, recreation, parks and recreation, what facilities they
Manage.
Yeah, the facilities that Park and Rec manage, the town's big. There's all these properties in town, but in Westford, in speaking in terms of facilities, there's the school facilities and there's the Park and Rec managed facilities. We are so grateful in this town that we work so well with the school department and vice versa. We're always, sharing facilities, making sure if it wasn't for Westford Public Schools, I wouldn't be able to run my after-school program. So I'm so grateful for that and the relationships that I have. Couldn't run Kids Club without the NABNAS at school. I couldn't run Destination Exploration without the support of conservation and being up there. So the facilities in town we manage and are able to run our programs from, it's a team effort. I wouldn't be able to do a lot of my things if it wasn't for the help of others. We have our nutting field that we get to run a lot of our programs out of. The property right at Road and Bush, that Frost Field, that is recreation managed land. So I'm able to do programs there. I don't know how
It's
much
such a
everyone
big
knows.
town, when you think of Parker Village
Yeah.
to Navnasset to
and then the
Stony
Jack
Brook.
Walsh fields. And then in
Yes.
town here, we permit those fields. And then Westford Youth Baseball, lacrosse, softball, soccer. There's a cricket pitch up at Stony Brook.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So, again, there's always question of what fields are maintained by recreation, Parks and Rec, and what fields are maintained by the school. So there's always that question, right?
And cricket's a good point, because that was a group of parents who advocated
Yeah.
for that and went before the select board and,
Yeah.
made it happen.
Yeah, and our own town staff, made that come to life with the help of Westford Academy, because technically that field is school managed land, but with the partnership of Parks and Grounds and Westford Academy, they really made that cricket pitch come to life. So everyone collaborated together to make that work, and that was really special.
A whole new
Yeah.
area of family fun in Westford.
And then back in 2019, the recreation department went from the Millworks building and we moved into the third floor of the Road and Bush building. So
Yeah, for you guys were moved around a lot.
we have moved around a lot,
You've
but
been
we're
flexible,
finally
very flexible.
in our final place, and it's amazing. And we have a little bit of program space on the third floor that allows me to run some of our activities too that we never really had before. I never really had recreation's never really had indoor programming space other than the use of the school. So having this little space on the third floor gets people in the building, and they come up to the third floor, and they get to see this beautiful renovation and work, and we have an amazing office up there. I'm not going to lie, we're thrilled, and we have great space, and we try to share it with everyone. So.
I think another thing I've seen in the last couple of years that's been good to see is kind of the coordination between town departments too. And I know like some of the health department programs, like with the health coordinator, I think there was like a mental health
first aid
program.
I took that class,
and was provided to the students who were participating in the recreation department. I think that's great. That cross collaboration between town departments, not just for facilities, but also for programming and using town staff from other departments who can come in and provide programs. I think that's excellent, and I think we need to do more of that.
Beth,
and
you're so
increases
right.
efficiencies too at the town level.
I mean, 100%. Like, people ask all the time, what you're offering and it can seem confusing because there's some redundancy in some programs, but the way I look at it from my lens is, how awesome is that? Providing multiple services for more people can get certified in something so important.
And needed for so many professions.
And maybe not everyone can make the one at recreation, or you can't make the one at road, or there's more options. And I could go on and on about the just different options that the community has, not only with recreation, but other departments in town. And there might be some redundancy, but being aware of that is important, of course. And, what kind of programs? Are they programs that are going to benefit the residents in town? I don't know how many chess classes we need, but when it comes to, providing such programs as the first aid, mental health first aid, and first aid CPR, or, healthy walks around the community. Like, I don't think there can ever be enough of those.
So let's go to funding. I know there's been some ARPA funding that has been eligible to community members to use. And so can you tell us about the funding and how residents can take advantage of that assistance?
Absolutely. So the ARPA funding, we collaborated with the Jen Claro over at the Senior Center, and Allison and Brittany and me, and just teamwork makes a dream work, right? They're so wonderful to work with, and they put together an application, a letter that is on our Westford Rec website, as well as the town website. And for anyone that does need some financial assistance, they can go apply for this ARPA funding. If you meet a certain criteria of financial stability, you qualify for this money. The money can support up to $400 for 1 week of Kids Club summer program or destination exploration, or $400 towards the WPC after school enrichment program. So people can apply for those funding. And over the course of the last couple of years since we have offered this funding, I've made it possible, or not me personally, the funding has made it possible for several children to come and experience a week of summer programming, or it's helped parents get through a couple months of help paying for an after-school program. And with our flexibility, especially with the after-school program and summer, we're able to make that $400 count,
Yes.
Sometimes 1 week of
Make all the
something just
difference.
isn't enough, so we hope to at least help offset the costs so they don't have to. So we've been very lucky to have that ARPA funding, and to say to someone, yes, you can come. Nothing hurts me worse than, I do run on an enterprise fund, so, revenue and budget comes from participant fees, right?
Right.
So we don't have a lot of extra money to just support someone to come, and that breaks my heart. Like, I wish I could offer it to
For
everyone
all.
for nothing.
Yes.
Just come if you need to. We need,
Yes.
we want to make sure the kids are having fun and
Yes.
being safe. But, realistically, obviously, we can't do that. So with the ARPA funding, it's helped me kind of go, okay, at least I have something to fall back on. It's nice to have kind of that support from, like, the sewing group, the Masonic Temple, Masons, the KDK Foundation, like Westford Remembers, so many different organizations in town that have helped support
Pitched in.
these families that,
You mentioned Jen Claro, so are these ARPA funds also for some senior programs as well? You mentioned Jen Claro, so have ARPA funds been available for seniors that might need assistance?
I don't know I think so. I'm not quite sure what
Okay.
Jen does with that, but when I'd hope.
Well, when she collaborates with you, that's probably where she can apply them as
right,
well.
and we all kind of work together we had to submit something for ARPA and how we would use it, and so from there,
Right.
it snowballed
Just to make it affordable.
everyone to work together.
Because I was really impressed as I was looking over all the programming, not to stereotype myself as a senior, but that you now have pickleball.
Oh, how did I forget to mention pickleball? Yes,
I love pickleball.
Yes,
I love it.
so we do pickleball lessons. I mean, from advanced to beginner, and we have a very large pickleball contingency that
And
plays
tell
up at
people where they can
Greystone.
play it.
So pickleball, we have dual use courts. A lot of our courts are up at Greystone because that is one of our properties that we manage. I know they're redoing Jack Walsh Field and playground, and they're putting more pickleball courts over there. I think more temporary like pickleball courts. So there's going to be another venue to play pickleball.
Are any at the new Robinson courts?
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's obviously dual use up there as well. Again, that's a school property, so I don't have much jurisdiction over that, but I know that groups go up there. If tennis isn't there, tennis is a spring sport, so WA does have priority over there for tennis lessons.
But in summertime, probably.
Yeah,
available,
and
right?
tennis, yeah, but summertime, they're open, and Westford does have quite a bit of, I know that over at the Captain Hamilton Court, over at Nabnasset, that's another one that we manage. There's dual lines over there, but the pickleball community, they like when there's lots of courts, because it's like round robin, everyone moves around. So playing at one little individual court is, not desirable, but if someone wants to go and play with some friends and
Bring a
learn
group,
and not
bring a
be
group.
competitive and do their thing, our little Captain Hamilton courts have some pickleball lines over there as well.
Oh, that's wonderful because it's time for outdoor pickleball now.
yes,
so that's
yes. Outdoor,
really
indoor.
great.
I mean, the Millworks, obviously, that's another large venue that people can go do recreational activities over there. It's a private, company, but yet another outlet for Westford residents in the community to recreate.
And another example of a fad that you're responding to.
Yeah, right?
Well, Michelle, it's been so delightful to have you tell us anything else we need to know about the recreation department and programs.
Well, thank you for having me. I mean, our programs are always running. Follow us on Facebook. Check out WestfordRec.com. We have all sorts of activities going on. Even archery, we're partnering with another town because, it just made it work. So the recreation department does work with other town organization recreation departments to run programming. So that's cool too. We love working with other towns and seeing what other people are doing out there. We're always looking for new ideas that people have. Someone reached out and asked about Bollywood dancing, so we now have that. So I would love to become more diverse in the activities that we have. We are located on the 3rd floor of the Road and Bush building, so come on up and visit. And again, we're always my amazing staff in the office. They're just Rose, Joy, and Tiffany, like we are all on the same page, and everyone just works together to make sure that we're promoting our programs through, Facebook and the town website, and we love emails. Unfortunately, we
Is
try
that
not
how
to.
they should? How should they contact you?
Yeah, email
Just
is
right on your website
Yep,
page.
right on our website. There's several emails you can email or call us. We always love taking a phone call. We love when people come in, though, and we can really talk to them and, let them know who we are.
Okay.
So
Lots
And there
of ways to
is
contact
a
you.
recreation committee as well.
yeah, the Park and Rec Commission. Yeah, they
Which,
meet on the first Monday.
Takes volunteers
Yep.
from the community to
Yes.
join. I think it's appointed. Is it appointed
yes.
by select board, I believe?
And I believe we might have some openings.
Become
We're all about
familiar.
informing people, right? And I think a lot of people that are uninformed about just different things that go around in town. So I just encourage everyone to get involved, stay informed of different things happening, and, reaching out and talking to us.
All right. Well, once again, thank you so much. And thanks for everything you're doing for the community.
Well, thank you guys for having me. This meant a lot, and I'm so glad I got to share our passions and what we do. And
We hope to have you back someday. And
I
we'll talk
would
about
love to
winter
be back.
programming.
I could get used to this. Thanks again for
All
having
right.
me. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.